This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is Jason Foley. Jason, how's it going?
How's it going, man? Nice to have. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So, full disclosure, we went to college together. I was there your freshman year, and I was a senior, and then I went to grad school. So we both went to Sacred Heart. So that's why I had to get you on. So let's just go back. You grew up in New York, and how did you get recruited to Sacred Heart?
Yeah, a small world that we actually went to the same place. Good old Pioneers, baby. Yeah, I got recruited. I was a little late to the draft recruiting or the college recruiting process than most, I'd say. I went to a showcase at UConn. I went to a showcase up at UConn, and obviously when you go to those showcases like that, there's a bunch of other smaller schools around, like the local tiny schools that come to watch as well. And that's initially where Sacred Heart found me. I obviously was going with the intention of opening some eyes of the UConn coaches, but that unfortunately didn't happen. But yeah, the Sacred Heart coaches found me there, and they liked me and they offered me a scholarship, and it kind of all happened from there. So obviously thankful that they were able to show up that day and start my baseball journey from there.
That's dope. Yeah, I mean that's why people go to camps and things like that. You never know. Was that like your only option for D1?
Yeah, there and I think it was funny enough. I think it was actually Temple, and I'm in Philly right now. So pretty sure Temple's right here. I don't think they have a baseball program anymore though. I'm sure. But yeah, again, I was kind of late to it. I didn't really know if I even wanted to play in college or I definitely did. I just wanted to make sure I went to I still wanted to go to a school that I wanted to go to outside of baseball. I didn't want to just sacrifice my whole college experience just to play. So yeah, Sacred Heart was one of maybe 2 or 3 places I was able to go that were D1. It was just kind of I was kind of a late bloomer. I always felt so I didn't really get too much buzz out of high school.
Yeah, for sure. And then I believe it was 2015 season. You guys won the NEC championship, right?
Yeah. We were actually talking about the other day because we won our conference tournament, so we got the automatic bid. But we were 20-31 or something, and got into the tournament. And it was every 15 or 20 games over. It was crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I believe 2014 season was, I was spring. So I was still there in 2014. So yeah, I don't know if you even know, I was actually operating the scoreboard from 2010 to 2014 for the baseball team.
Okay, I don't think I knew that. Good old Harbor Yard.
Yeah, good old Harbor Yard. Yeah. It was crazy. It was the days when we had double headers and stuff. It was crazy. Me, Randy, and I forgot. There's just always a random third person in the booth with us. So it was interesting, especially when the season starts in March and it's freezing cold out there.
You still talked with dude? Randy was one of my favorite. He was one of my favorite dudes that I met through Sacred Heart. He was awesome.
Yeah. No, I see him. I run into him every once in a while. He's a good dude. I know he. Say it again.
Is he still working there?
Yeah.
It's awesome, bro. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I know you also played under Coach Giacquino, and he was in the NFL, which I always tell people it was crazy because at Sacred Heart, then at the time, probably a little before you, the basketball coach actually played in the minor leagues of baseball, and so it was the basketball coach was a baseball player, and the baseball coach was a football player. So what was that like playing for him?
Dude, it was crazy. I didn't. I don't know when I found out, but I certainly didn't know that coming into Sacred Heart. And then I remember we found out one day because Coach G was so humble. You would have never known he played in the NFL, let alone won a Super Bowl. And then we found that out, and we were like, bro, what the hell? Because he was always I don't know how he was 60, I think, when he coached when I was there, 65, and he was a pretty stout dude, and he would go in the weight room and kind of get after it and lift some weights, and we were always kind of like, damn, good for him. And then you find out he's an NFL like running back and like won a ring. You're like, what the hell? But he was awesome. Like he was so he was the first guy to introduce us to like kind of like the mental side of like sports and like the mental approach to like deep breathing and like keeping yourself like in check and keeping yourself grounded. And that was really cool because like, you know, in high school no one talked about that stuff. Like that was never a thing like 10 years ago. So it was really cool for him to introduce like breathing mechanisms and like meditations and like visualization type stuff to help us. But it was awesome playing under him, man. He was such a cool dude, and he had some great success there as the head coach.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I believe he won 4 titles, or if not 4, it was 3. Yeah. So all right. So I don't even know the story. So you got to tell me. So you go to you leave after your junior year, and I believe the Tigers discovered you during the summer leagues. So how did that all come about that you left after your junior year?
Yeah. So I would say a lot of baseball players that go on to play professionally get drafted after their junior year. Like the junior year is the time when you're first eligible, and like most guys get selected after that. I happened to not get selected after my junior year, and it was tough. But then I went on to play summer ball again. I was like ready to go back to my senior year. I remember I had like a lease signed with my buddies. We were ready to go back and play, and then I was just playing summer ball in the New England College Baseball League, the NECBL. I was back in Mystic, Connecticut, which is not too far from Sacred Heart, not too far from you, over in Milford. And yeah, I just like remembered waking up to, I don't know if it was at night or the morning. I think I woke up to a voicemail from the Tigers area scout, whose name is Jim Bretz. And he just said like how he saw me throw, and like was really liked what he saw, and just pretty much like, was I willing to still like, am I dead set on going back to school, or am I still willing to sign? And so I called him back and we started talking, and I pretty much said like, yeah, I would be willing to still come and play and sign a free agent contract, because like, you know, I didn't know going back to senior year at Sacred Heart, like we're obviously not like a ridiculous powerhouse of a baseball school. Like we're kind of an under the radar low D1 school. So like I was like, you know, maybe I don't even get a chance. Like I didn't perform well my junior year. Like what if I don't perform well again? Like maybe I don't even get a shot to like play. So I was like, yeah, like I would still sign. And then he was like, all right. He wanted to come see me again with like a higher tier scout. Like I don't know if it was like a regional scout or like just someone with a little more, I guess, hierarchy in the scouting department. So they came to see me throw, like maybe 4 or 5 days later, um, and then like I threw pretty well. I remember it was pretty sweet. We were playing, the other team we were playing had like 4 of my homies and my teammates from Sacred Heart on it, so it was pretty cool because they all knew the circumstances. And I threw pretty well, and I signed my professional free agent contract like a day or two later.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I guess like what I don't know the stat, because so Troy Scribner, another Shoe alum, he was the first player to make it to the MLB from Shoe.
Yep.
I remember when he didn't get drafted either, and I remember I was trying to look up the stat because like I know the rules changed now, but there used to be like 50 rounds in the MLB draft. So as an American and not like, you know, from overseas, if you're, you know, foreign, you could just get signed or whatever and you don't get drafted, whatever. But so I'm pretty sure it's like extremely rare to go undrafted and make it to the MLB. And I don't know what the stat for an American player, like I don't know what the stat is, but I know it's super rare. So I know you're in that category.
Yeah, it's really cool that Troy was able to do that as well. Being the first guy from our school to make it. I definitely don't know the statistics, but it's got to be pretty rare, because I mean, I would imagine making the big leagues even as a drafted player is still a pretty small percentage. Just because, yeah, when mine was 40. When I was getting drafted, it was 40 rounds. Now they shaved it to 20, but yeah, I would imagine it's a pretty low, and you know, it's pretty cool to think about. I was actually getting asked about that the other day by a reporter, and like, it is pretty sweet. I don't get to like probably look back at it and like appreciate it enough, because I'm just like busy playing and trying to compete. But like, when people like you or other guys remind me of it, it's pretty sweet to think about.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know, like, Sacred Heart, uh, I'd say, love, not even love hate relationship. It's just like they just don't see stuff. They don't see stuff. I don't think, like, even like this right now, like why, like they should be highlighting you and Zach more. Not even just athletics. Like they should just be like, yo, look at what just happened. Like what's happening right now.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to. I'm with you. I don't want to like make it sound like I don't want to like talk negatively on them, but like you would think they try to use like again. There's only been 3 of us to make it out of there, so it's not like we're LSU. We're pumping out like 4 big leaguers a year. You would think they would try to like use the fact that 2 of us are currently in the big leagues to help recruit them a little more and like promote us on maybe some social media. But it is what it is. Like, um, but yeah, it's pretty sweet that Zach's here too, right? Crazy.
Crazy. So tell me like a little bit about the minor leagues, because for those that don't know, it's like a grind. You ride in buses to games, like long bus rides and things like that. And then I know, like, obviously everyone was affected by 2020, but then you didn't even get to play as well.
Yeah, it's actually funny, dude. We were just talking about this like 2 days ago, but about how much a grind like the minor leagues used to be. Luckily, they switched it. I don't know. I'm sure. I mean, I feel like you're pretty well versed in sports, so you probably know. But like, they switched it to um, like week long series. I'm not sure if you know that. So you play like Tuesday through Sunday, the same team 6 days, and then you have Monday off every week, uh, which is awesome for them. But like, yeah, when I was going through the minors, it was like a normal MLB schedule, like 3 or 4 game series. And like, yeah, you're taking like 3 to 7 hour bus trips. Like, you're on one Peter Pan bus with like your whole coaching staff, all your players, and like obviously we're all like most guys are we're like above average sized people, next to someone like you got 2 people that are 6 feet, 200 pound plus, and like a coach bus next to each other. You got I don't know, people are sleeping on floors. Everyone's all over the place. It's a mess, but like, it was a grind, but it's also weirdly like some of the most fun times you had. I feel like because you're just all in it together. I remember I was living in like a 3-bedroom apartment with 5 dudes. Like, I don't know, you're staying at like Red Roof Inns or like just ratty like hotels, like eating McDonald's and stuff. Like it's a grind looking back because like now I know like what the MLB is like and like how much better you get treated, but it's also weirdly like super fun. Like you're with all your boys, you're kind of grinding through together, playing ball. So it's actually kind of fun in a weird way.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like you're in college again.
Exactly. Like yeah, yeah, literally. Like you're playing summer ball with your homies and like yeah, you're eating like I mean you're racking up like 2 peanut butter and jellies a day. Uh, like whatever. Like Chipotle is like a luxury. Like I remember one time I was in high A and like I was just texting one of my buddies from home and I don't even know how it happened, but like he just Venmoed me like $15 and he was like Chipotle bowl on me and I was like, bro, you don't even know how much like you give a minor leaguer like a Chipotle gift card, like bro, that's like winning the lottery. It's like the best thing ever. So, but it was fun. You always have good memories of it, but you know, I guess it's nice that they've made it a little better logistically for the players and a little better on like travel and whatnot for them now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Then I don't even know if I mentioned. So you're a pitcher. So and I read an article about one pitch like changes the course of your career. What is that? What has it been like just developing as a pitcher like through the minor leagues and then making it to the major leagues?
Yeah. So yeah, like you're referring to. So I used to throw all 4 seam fastballs, like just kind of your normal. Like when you learn to play baseball, you grip it like a 4 seam because everyone's like, oh, it goes straight. So like that was just my fastball. Um, and I always threw the ball pretty hard. Like in the minor leagues, I'd be like similar to what I am now, like 95 and above. But like now with all the changes in analytics, like I was starting to see that like, well, I guess I wasn't starting to see, but like my 4 seam never really played that well, meaning that like I would throw hard, but I wouldn't really get that many like swing and misses on it. And then you'd see other guys that are throwing like 88 or 90, and like they're blowing it by people, and you're kind of like, what's going on? And luckily, in the spring training of 2020, before we got shut down, um, we brought in a guy from Driveline, and Driveline's like pretty much like a pitching lab. It's like its own third party like pitching lab. They're not affiliated with anyone. And we brought in a guy to work with us, and he pretty much was saying, like, my four seam is hard. It comes out like velocity wise pretty well, but all of its other metrics like spin rate and like all these other metrics pretty much make it like a below average pitch. Like for some reason, the way it spins or the way it comes out of my hand, like the hitters can see it. It's like flat. It's kind of like what they call a dead zone heater. And he suggested I start throwing sinkers, and I threw one, and immediately he was like, man, that's a way better pitch. You should start throwing that. So like from then on out, I pretty much started throwing like predominantly sinkers for my fastball. And like as I've gotten better with it, I've been able to improve like maybe some metrics on it. I've been able to get some more run and more sink on it. I've been able to locate it a little better, and doing so is like really catapulted me in my career, and like probably one of the main reasons I made the big leagues. So yeah, it was like pretty sweet in that regard. So that guy, I remember I texted him when I debuted. I sent him like a nice email, and I was like, man, thank you so much. Like I don't know, like I honestly don't know if I would have ever made it without that one bullpen switch that he made for me.
Yeah, that's crazy too, and just coming from like an independent person, that's dope. And what about I know you've thrown over 100, but have you done it in an MLB game?
Not to my knowledge, I don't think I have. Once I started throwing sinkers, I wouldn't say like my velo went down, but I think it's probably like a mile an hour or two slower than my four seam probably was. And
All right, well, what's it like throwing that fast?
the first time I did, I guess it's pretty cool. You don't really think about it much now, just because like dude, anytime if you can get an out, I don't care how fast I could throw it, like outs. But I remember my first year of pro ball, so 2017. I was throwing hard, and like there was like maybe like 8 to 10 outings in a row, because like in the minor leagues you have your own players start charting the game, so like they write down like all the pitches, all the velos, all that stuff, and like 10 outings in a row, it was like I hit like 98 or like I hit 99, and everyone was like, like just messing with me, like calling me soft, like, yo, you gotta hit 100, blah blah blah. So I put on like Red Hot, which is like, I don't know if it's like a goo that you like rub on your muscles or whatever, and like helps like heat up and get loose up. And I threw it on before one game. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just throw one as hard as I can. I remember like I just reared back like without any regard where the ball was going, which is probably not too safe. Feel bad for the batter who was in the box at the moment, but I spiked it like 55 feet, but it was 100. And then finally everyone was like, oh, like congrats. But it was pretty cool. I missed by a mile, but I guess it's pretty sick just to be able to say I've thrown the ball 100 miles an hour. Although like it feels like every single guy does it now.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, like growing up, like that. I remember like Chapman, they were just like going crazy about him, and now it's like it's not normal, but it's still like more normal than it used to be.
Yeah, like Chapman was the guy. It's like you got guys 105, and like it's a joke.
And then yeah, tell me about like getting the phone call up to the majors.
Yeah, it was a pretty I don't know, it's such a hard feeling to explain, but there was a pretty cool story behind it, because so it was in 2021, I got COVID in spring training, and once I got cleared, I didn't have to test for like 2 months or so, because I had like the antibodies. And I remember we were in Memphis, Tennessee, and my trainer was like, hey, you're going to have to start testing for COVID again. Like, that time's up. I was like, okay, cool. And I remember I was at a coffee shop with some of my buddies, and I look at my phone. I have like 5 missed calls, 5 missed texts from my trainer, like, call me back. And I was like, this is kind of weird. This stuff usually doesn't happen. So I call him back, and he's like, yo, you got to get down to the clubhouse like right now. You got to spit and take a test to get cleared for tonight. And I was like, all right, this is kind of weird, like whatever. So I scooter over to the field. And I get in there, and everyone's like, there's only some coaches and staff in there, and they're all kind of like ignoring me. And I was like, this is weird. Like, what's going on? And like, I kind of had an inkling I might get called up, but I didn't want to like, obviously, like, get my hopes up and then not happen. So I finally spit. I go and I give it to my trainer, and he brings me in the clubhouse, and my manager blows me up. Like, he's like, bro, you got to be more professional. Like, you gotta answer you gotta have your phone on. You gotta answer your trainer. Blah 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 blah. And he's like, just all pissed at me and chapped. I'm like, what's going on? And then he hands me the sheet, and it's like a form that says like you're gonna be reinstated to play. And on the form, it just said like, congrats, you're going to the big leagues. And I didn't know what to say because I didn't really know if I was like, I literally said like, you're not fucking with me, right? And he was like read the paper. He's like in my face, and I'm like, so you're like, you were not lying? He's like, no, like you're going to the fucking big leagues. My pitching coach was right there, and I hugged him. I like cried. It was pretty sick.
That's dope. And now circling back all the way to the beginning of this interview, you were saying like you didn't even know you were going to play like college baseball. So like, how crazy is it to make it to the MLB?
Yeah, again, it's kind of one of those things like I don't probably spend enough time like reflecting on and like realizing, but yeah, like it's sick, dude. Like to think of how far I came, it's like a pretty awesome. I think it's like a pretty sweet story, and like um, it just shows like if you work hard and like keep going at something, like you can accomplish like a lot more than you probably think.
Yeah. And then in 2021, Zach Short, your teammate from Sacred Heart, got traded to the Tigers, and you guys played in the minors, right? At that time?
Yeah, I think he might have got traded in 2020.
Or yeah,
Uh,
2020.
I'm not even sure. I think it was 2020, but 2021. Yeah, we started the year in AAA. He got called up just before, or like earlier than I did, maybe a month before I did. Which was awesome. I remember we were at home in Toledo and he got called up. I was so pumped for him. And then I got called up like a month later. And then I don't think it was until 2022 that we were actually on the field together for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. But that was an awesome experience as well.
So he was there when you got called up.
Yeah, it was actually funny. He actually got sent down the day that I got called up, which is AJ was like really cool about it. He obviously knew like what it meant to us, so he let him stay instead of like usually when you get sent down, you like fly the next day. Um, but he let him stay and watch my debut, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's dope. And then yeah, like even like what is that like to just like have your college teammate with you as a pro?
Yeah, bro, it's sick. Like we always talk about. We were like, we're like how Sacred Heart was. We're practicing at like fields, like we're playing at like Harbor, like an independent ball field. We're practicing like indoors on a basketball court. And we're like, man, to think like we came far to, like, now we're on like playing at Yankee Stadium together, or like something, like something wild like that. Like it's crazy. So it's like it's nuts, and I'm so proud of him and proud of how far we've come. So like it's really cool to think about, and I hope I hope we get to stay teammates for a while, but we'll see, man. This game's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny too. Just when you said that, like I remember you guys practicing in the on the basketball court or like near the bat, whatever, like in that gym. Um, but yeah, what and then I believe you got your first save this year. So what was that? What was that like to get your first major league save?
Yeah, dude, it was sick. I got we were at home against Cleveland, and AJ's pretty good about managing the bullpen, not overusing people. And our closer Alex Lang was like had thrown 2 days in a row, so he wasn't available that night. And then Eduardo Rodriguez was throwing. I mean, he was throwing the lights out. He threw 8 shutout against Cleveland. And like I thought it was a 1-0 game, and I thought he was gonna go back out. And then they call, and they're like, Foley, you're in the game. And I was like, all right, like obviously knew it was a save opportunity. I obviously knew it was my first save. And it was a 1-run game too. So obviously I was like, damn, you kind of got to hunker down here. And I remember Jose Ramirez was up third, and I was like, all right, like let's do your best. And Miles Straw was leading off, I think, or someone really fast was leading off, and I was like, all right, like let's lock it in. Let's try to get this first guy out, because you don't want someone that's like blazing fast and like could steal a base, and then Jose Ramirez gets up. So luckily I got the first 2 guys out. and then it was cool. I punched out Jose Ramirez for my first save, so it was actually pretty sweet. Like couldn't have really drawn it up any better. It was an awesome experience. So yeah.
Yeah. So has there been anyone that you faced that was like one of your favorite players growing up?
Um,
Or did you grow up a Yankee fan?
yeah, I grew up a Yankee fan. Um, I grew up a Yankee fan. Not, I would say I haven't faced someone that's like my favorite player.
Or who's someone that you want to face?
Facing Trout was pretty sick. I mean, that was like one time I was like, I don't know, he kind of just has like a presence in the box, and like facing Trout was pretty. Um,
What happened in that about?
I faced him 3 times. He singled off me once, and then I punched him out twice, which was actually pretty sweet.
All right, that's sick. That's
Yeah.
sick. No, you're good. I just got a few more questions, then we're really done. All right, so yeah, I just want to ask you some fun questions. So, what is it like to play with Miguel Cabrera?
I mean, it's pretty sick to like I remember growing up, I had a poster of him on my wall. Like he was obviously like one of the best. I mean, is one of the best hitters ever, and like especially of our generation. But I think the coolest part about him is like he's such a good dude. Like he's such a nice, like genuine, like just fun loving, goofy dude that like treats everyone the same, no matter if you're have 10 years in the big leagues, if you're a rookie, if you're your first day. He's like super cool, like super like outgoing, like you can talk to him, joke around with him, and I think that's one of the coolest parts about him. So it's pretty cool to it's pretty sick to be his teammate.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, so I got to ask you, this just happened last. I think it was last night. I wanted to hear your take as a professional player. So I believe his name is pronounced Ellie De La Cruz. So he had his 1st home run last night, and like a young kid caught it, and he just instead of I don't think he got any money from it, but instead of that, he just got like all of his boys. There was like 8 of them, and they just got like signed baseball and a picture with them. But then like in the comments on Twitter, they're like, yo, you could have got hundreds of thousands, you could have got millions, blah, blah, blah. Like, but in my eyes, I'm like, yo, he did the right thing. Like, it's not like, who knows what that he's going to be anyways. He's a rookie and all that. And like, so what's your take on that?
I kind of agree with you. Like, I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, if you just understand, if you just have like, I feel like a little bit of just like understanding, you'd realize like, bro, that ball means way more to him than like it'll ever mean to you. So the fact you got to meet him and like get some cool. I saw like he got like a signed bat and like probably some free tickets for a couple games. Like I think that's plenty compensation like for that. I mean, you got to realize like again like this ball is gonna mean like it's his first home run ball, hopefully of many, and it's like gonna mean way more to him than it ever gonna mean to you. So I think meeting him and getting some bats and balls and a couple tickets is like plenty enough to like trade it in. I mean, now I get what you're saying. Like if you catch like a big one, like a 700th homer, like I
Yeah,
get it.
that'd be a different story.
Like I get it's actually worth like millions probably, but I don't know. It's his first home run ball. Like he deserves it. It's gonna be like probably one of the coolest pieces of memorabilia that guy ever gets because it's not many people get to do that. So I think it's pretty cool what he did.
Yeah, and I thought it was like I wasn't even thinking about like the money, and I thought it was dope that he got all of his boys in like with the group picture. I thought it was pretty cool.
For sure. Yeah, 100%.
All right, last or actually two last ones. Who do you want to do a jersey exchange with that you haven't done yet?
Oh, that's a good one. I guess exchange might not be the right term because I don't know how many people want mine, but I actually have started like collecting cool jerseys. Um, I guess that's a good question. I got some for this year. I need to get I actually have a Bryce Harper jersey. We're playing the Phillies. I actually have a Bryce Harper jersey I'm gonna get signed. I just forgot to bring it, but that would be a cool one. I don't know. I try to get like the players that I grew up watching, like the really good, like probably Hall of Famers. One cool one that I got that's cool is I used to play with Cody Clemens, who's actually also on the Phillies. He got traded there, and I've met his dad quite a bit, Roger. Like just in passing and whatnot. And like I got a cool Boston Roger Clemens jersey signed by him, and it's pretty sick. He like signed all of his accolades on it, and he obviously has a bunch of them. So it filled up all the numbers. So that was a pretty sick jersey.
That's dope. All right, last question. What's your favorite cheat meal?
Probably. I mean, being a Northeast guy, I feel like I got to go like pizza. Like, give me like a whole pie and let me just take that thing down. I just got like a really good pizza here in Philly, called Angelo's. Man, it was so good. Like, kind of similar to New Haven style. I'm assuming you know that, but like, yeah, give me like a whole pie and I'll crush it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Connecticut pizza over New York. I know you're a New York guy though.
Yeah, no, I don't want to say I've like fully changed my wagon, like my stance on that. But I think like as a whole, New York has better pizza. But I think like the couple spots in New Haven, like Sally's and Modern, are like insane. Like probably some of the best pizza I've ever had. But I think there's a better chance like you walk into a random pizza place in New York and you get a better slice than Connecticut. But Sally's is pretty top tier.
I'll take that. That's fair enough. Actually, I got one last question. What else do you like to do, and like what do you like to do in your free time besides playing baseball and training?
Yeah, in the season it's tough because we're just so busy. But when I do have some free time, it's a pretty basic answer, but I like getting out there and golfing. Um, it's harder like mid season. It's a little tougher because we're just like these off days. I kind of want to spend like just resting and relaxing. But I like playing some golf. Um, yeah, I would say golf. I mean, I'm trying to get better. I'm not quite on Zach's level yet, but it's always fun to get out there and kill some time and hang out.
Yeah, that's dope. All right, well, I appreciate you coming on, and could you let the listeners know where they can follow you at?
Yeah, bro. I only have one social media, just Instagram. It's at jfoles6. So at JFOLES and then number 6. That's all I got. But I appreciate you giving me the free shout.